Factory 5 Live. Now, where the heck am I and why am I a space pirate? Well, more on that in a second, but I'm here with my trusty sidekick, Mad Dog. Go ahead, spin a crown, camera. That was your wave?
That was my wave.
Anybody that knows Mad Dog knows he's a huge Star Wars geek fan, so officially on behalf of everybody at Factory 5, Mad Dog, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
So guys, today we're going to talk about, I saw a movie this weekend, and a few business advice. I'm here with our 35 Hot Rod truck, which is pretty sweet, but we're in our brand new building, which is a huge opportunity and a huge problem. And I watched this video this weekend, this movie called The Martian. It's with Matt Damon, and he's an astronaut who gets marooned on Mars. It came out about 5 years ago. If you saw it, all my analogies will be apt and you'll understand. If you didn't, you'll have to stick with the Change the Blues riff. So the guy gets stranded on Mars and he gets a whole bunch of problems. Basically, I was watching the movie and I started smiling because some of the quotes from the movie could be applied to Factory 5 today. And actually it could be applied to a lot of small businesses. And it could be applied to a lot of families that are kind of having to make ends meet, having to make plans, having to figure out how to navigate the waters. From a political standpoint, if you know me, I think most politicians are paid liars. They conveniently take the opposite side of each argument, whatever is convenient for them. We've got some good politicians out there, no doubt, but there are a whole bunch of them that all they want to do is have power. They tell you one thing, they do something else. I can't have that luxury. We'll run a business and we got to do things that make sense. We got to do the math, essentially. So I thought, what are some of the advices I can give to other businesses and some of the things I've learned in 5 weeks? I mean, think about it. We're in the middle of a building. This building was to be operational right now. And Dave, once this building's operational, what'll it be?
I mean, molding.
Well, or it would be the ultimate force for composites in the universe.
That's true.
So I gave him a Star Wars laydown and he didn't take it. So disappointing, Dave. So anyway, may the 4th be with you. So Mark Watley is the astronaut, and I made some notes. And by the way, before I get too far, you know, I think, didn't Damon grow up in Boston or Cambridge or Southie or something?
Mm-hmm.
Him and Ben Affleck. Dave's a big film fan. If you guys saw the Hyundai commercial, I'm going to do a few laydowns for you. So what does the guy say when that guy pulls up, tries to get in a parking lot?
You're not going to fit in there.
That guy's not going to fit. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. If you know New England, it's not the most friendly place. If you come here on Marathon Monday, it's the most friendly place in the world. Any other time, you'll get that greeting from the Hyundai commercial. Look at this guy. He's not going to fit in there. And then what does Rachel say?
I don't have it memorized like you, Dave.
He says, no, sir. She says. Huh. And he pulls up and says, hey, look at these two troublemakers. It's like, that's New England. It's Boston. Maybe it's not the friendliest place in the world, but friendships run deep, and I've been here for 25 years. And so I was watching The Martian this week and catching up, and I think, you know, Matt Damon did a great job. And he's basically in a terrible, terrible situation where there's no hope, and he's going to give up. And I wrote down some of the quotes from the movie. So he goes, I guarantee you at some point everything's going to go south on you. And, you know, what he does is some of the advice I'm going to give in business. So the first thing that we've had to do at Factory 5 is do the math. And do the math is the hard math, not the fun stuff that, you know, everybody gets bonuses and we've had a good month or a good quarter, a good year. Not the exciting stuff that I get to do, bring you guys news of new products and all that, but do the numbers. What I've done in terms of doing the numbers is, and I always do this when it comes to projects or, in this case, a threat to the business. You know, we're looking at, and by the way, guys are working here, so this is a live job site, so you might hear some background noise. Do the numbers means do a worst case, a best case, and a probable scenario. Now, with this virus, it's kind of been a moving target. It's been changing and moving as it goes. So my worst case, my best case, and my most probable scenario keep changing. So, you know, you got to do a lot of math. You got to know your numbers. You got to know what your payroll is, what your expenses are, all the things that kind of come down to the president of the company. And you're not allowed to have emotion as the second part. You know, in this virus, emotion has been extremely high, and it's been polarized. You know, you'll see on the news. You know, some people are like, open up the country, let freedom ring, stop holding me down. And other people are like, you know, you have an obligation to protect other people. I'm not going to say who's right. I'm going to tell you that there's going to be this massive spectrum of emotions. And that's what happens when you get the network news and cable TV 24/7 talking about a virus. Now, they're not talking about how many cancer deaths we have, how many automotive deaths we have. They're not talking about all the people who are not going to go to the doctor for something because they're afraid to go to the doctor, and that something is going to turn out to be an exacerbation that's going to be worse than maybe this virus would have been. Nevertheless, wherever you fall on that spectrum, if you're running a small business, you don't have the luxury to be emotional. You got to be qualitative and quantitative. You got to look at the data in front of you and without emotion understand that everyone around you is going to freak out or not freak out or anywhere in between. Your job is to take emotion and put it on the side. Step back and look at your business and make the practical decisions that will get you to next September, to next January. And that was my next piece of advice. Far be it from me to give you guys advice, but if anybody is in the situation I am, maybe you can profit from what I've learned. In 2008 and 2009, the economy was a train wreck. And I mean, there was talk of the next Great Depression. And this was an economic upheaval of which we hadn't seen since the 30s. And I watched customers with fear. And what I learned in 2008 and 2009 is stay in it for the long game, play the long game. Don't get caught up into the news cycle, but look at your business over a long period of time. And what I learned in 2009 is that fear doesn't last. And you're already seeing it in the news. Fear is a thing that grabs people and it holds them down and it terrifies them, but over the long period of time, people get tired of fear. And people start to realize that survival is not a life strategy. You know what a life strategy is? Build a hot rod, have some fun. Go out with your wife and kids, spend time, with the people you love. I watched that in 2008 and 2009. So as a business leader, you got to make decisions that are good for the long run. What are the things that we wish we would have had done now that, 3 years from now, we're going to be happy that we have done? Well, you're standing in one of them right now. I mean, Dave, let's take a little walk around. You've got a 12,000 square foot facility. This is the back area. There's a hazmat room, 2 docks in the back. The thinking and the layout of this, right behind and right next to where this hot rod is, I'm standing where our new robot's coming. Right now there's a bunch of sprinkler pipe. In the race car business, we call it tubing, but this is true pipe. This is where our 5-axis CNC robot's going. Brand new machine. It's paid for. It's sitting in Ann Arbor. We can't get it here yet, but we will have it here soon. Next door on the other side of the hot rod, and I'll start this up and drive it. It's a nice day out, but I promise you guys some in-depth analysis on each car. Today isn't the day for that, but I brought the 35 over here because it was just cool to have something in the shop here. So here is an office, a front door to the building. The building's made to match our other building. There's a conference room, an office. We've got a break room, 2 bathrooms, and then under this area here is where, if you've been on a tour at Factory 5, you've seen our CNC cutting table. It's an Eastman M900, big, basically an XY coordinate cutting table for glass cloth, glass mat, fabric, carpeting, headliner, basically anything we want to cut, we cut it on that table. Well, that's going to be under here with these big curtains that slide open and closed, so as we're using it, if there's a dirty area, it doesn't get the machine dirty. And then up above me is going to be a state-of-the-art shaping bay. Our master shaper, John Crowell, is being complemented by a tremendous amount of CNC technology. All that CNC technology, though, won't get us to the game. John has to still do a lot of shaping and a lot of master shaping, plugs, molds, all those things. He's going to be doing up there in an air-conditioned suite. So he's probably the only shaper in the world that has HVAC, air conditioning, a dirty room, a clean room, a concept room, and tooling. All his stuff will go up there, and that's about 2,500 square feet for John. So investing in the future is what we're doing at Factory 5. Now, I'm doing the math pretty careful to make sure we don't go on the rocks, but a year from now, I will have rued the day if we don't make these decisions, if we don't go full speed ahead with this. We've got the money to do it. Yeah, the economy doesn't look great, and this whole virus is a scare, but we're doing the right things for the business. So Mark Watley, Space Pirate, he says, science the crap out of it is basically what he says. And that's my advice to small business. Science the crap out of your business. Look at your numbers, do the numbers 2 times, do a worst case, best case, and probable scenario. And as your metrics change your plan. You're not allowed to make emotional decisions, I said. Get in it for the long run. If you saw the movie, he's marooned on the planet with nothing but disco music. So at least we have better music than Watney. If anybody's got any questions specifically about the business, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'm just going to take the hot rod out, drive it around, put it back in the showroom. I've put exactly 19 miles on the car. I thought I put more than that. I drove the crap out of it, but I only went down to Marion back, did some highway on-ramps, drifted a little bit, came back home. It's a great car, but it's brand new, and I'm really looking forward to the time when I can jump in the car with Mad Dog and take the car out for a proper cruise. So Mad Dog, you got any comments? Anybody say hi? We got 12 people watching today. So
lots of people saying hi and well said, and people liking The Martian. So
The Martian, that was a great movie, and I'll tell you what, you know, there's a point in time when he's like ready to break down. I've been there in my office looking at the future saying, how are we going to get all these vectors to line up? And you know what? The truth is, it's math. Do the math. Get emotion out of it and just focus on blocking and tackling. We've got such a great crew. I should have added this. The ideas of the guys that work for me that are at home right now or here and say, hey, Dave, I had an idea. God, you can't pay guys for that stuff. That's emotional investment in a company they've helped build. And so you can't say thanks to people like that. But let me jump in the hot rod unless anybody's got any question, Dave.
just positive comments.
Yeah. What we'll do, it looks like we're going to have a spring, early summer week. So if we get some nice, weather, I wanted to do a comparo of the 33 hot rod with a 35, kind of head to head. It's the same chassis, similar chassis, same chassis platform. One has a bed, obviously, and they have some other limitations. It doesn't have all the optional equipment of one, but they have very similar tracks and wheelbases and other things like that. We'll go over the similarities and the differences maybe outside when the weather's nice. I think maybe tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. And some other guys asked about the 818. We'll do the 818 as well. So let's fire this thing up. So it's Coyote powered, solid axle. Let me go trolling for Corvettes with this car because it is just a sports car slayer. It's a cruiser beach truck, but I'll tell you what, here's a dirty little secret. Jim Skank couldn't help himself. He knew his job was in the design goals to make a cruiser, and he made a cruiser. Yeah, but it'll outturn a BMW or a Porsche. It's just it's still a sports car, so it's a fun car to drive. So let's start it up. I'll take it out. Nice thing about this one is roll-up windows, surround, so you get nice and tight HVAC. Hey, so Dave, I'm just gonna drive out. So you can film me on the way out. But guys, Monday, May the 4th be with you. Dave out.